Well, gentlemen, the time has come to wrap up, give you a wrap up of the day's proceedings. And if any one of you think that Manu and I have got an easy task, let me tell you, it's not that easy. One has to go through all these wonderful lectures and then probably land up what normally conventionally people do is to read out the whole agenda once again at the end of the day. But I have the pleasure of having Manu Tandon with me, and anybody who thinks he needs an introduction is either not born or is not a gastroenterologist. And therefore, to introduce Manu as my co-panelist would be an exercise in futility. Manu has perfected the art of conducting live workshops and is extremely competent in doing the wrap-ups. So Manu, it's a pleasure to have you in these days of COVID times when we are not meeting. And so what is your take on today's wrap-up and how do we conduct it? I believe we are going to do it differently. We are not just going to enumerate all the lectures because people have already seen them, heard them, and taken the take-home messages.
Yes. So, Professor Tyagi, you being one of the senior most and having attended probably a huge number of conferences in India and abroad, what we plan to do is not really, as you said, go over the summary. We critically analyze what we have learned, but I'll take a couple of minutes to list out what went through during today's program. Is that okay with you? So let's begin with there were 5 international faculties. Nalini, all of them spoke in the areas of expertise. Nalini, Guda, USA, I don't have to introduce them, on post-ERCP, Pratik on Barrett's, Sham on his favorite subject of EUS-guided biopsies. Fabian from South America spoke very well on one of the basic talks, a concept, quality control in endoscopy, very important, I think, for the youngsters who are starting now. And we had Professor Greenwald. In addition, we had a galaxy of Indian speakers. I mean, the who's who of Indian gastroenterology was here. We had talks from Barrett's, GERD, basic talk in pediatric bleeds, indeterminate strictures, post-ERCP pancreatitis, EUS with either FNA or drainage, and then we went to early gastric cancers, NBIs, very innovatively, I told you, quality control and the invariable COVID situation today, and which I'm going to ask Tyagi, a very nice session on women today in endoscopy in our country. So this was in brief. This is besides the workshop, which showed us fairly advanced procedures. All of you saw them from 12 onwards. Many centers did it, and I'm sure I don't have to repeat. But I'd like to begin, Dr. Tyagi, on your opinions on how this workshop went and how does it benefit. The first thing I want to ask you is, 60% of our endoscopists are standalone. Tyagi, I think you are also one of them. So how much do such meets where you have basic, a middle level and an advanced procedure, where do you place yourself and 60% of our colleagues?
Well, Manu, such conferences when you have such a galaxy of excellent endoscopists showing you the cutting edge technology, one has to, when you see Akshay Kumar doing all those stunts, it comes with a warning, don't try it at home. These are being done by professionals. I think every standalone endoscopist, when he sees people like Nagi or people like Mehdev or people like Amol Bape, do these procedures so fluently, let them not think that these can be done at standalone places with not adequate or not being professionals in these fields, because that leads to a lot of complications. And I, over the period of last 40 years, are seeing that people with we don't have accreditations. So once we don't have that, anybody who buys the equipment continues with the procedures. And I think that is the only drawback of standalone early youngsters looking at these procedures and thinking that they are rather easy. They are done by professionals. They are very highly trained professionals doing a very sophisticated procedure. I think time has come for the society to start accreditations procedure wise as well.
Okay. Yeah, and this is coming from Dr. Tyagi, 40 years minimum, I think, experience from one of the premier institutes, PGI. So I think it's advised to be taken well by most of our standalone, irrespective whether they are beginning, middle part of their career, that take care and don't do procedures which are beyond you. Dr. Tyagi, continuing this, I feel that, as you said, accreditation, we have standalone, we have small groups in tier 2 towns, and we have the high end. I would, again, not being immodest, would say that we,
AIG, yes,
along
yes,
with a few
right.
other institutions
Yes,
all
many
over the
others
country,
now.
they're just a handful, maybe 10 of them. So would you, based on your experience and hearing what you have heard today, feel that what are the levels on what you have seen that we should stop at standalone, a small town, tier 2 with limited equipment, and the real update? Philip just told us about artificial intelligence. Yes, very few people have it, but those who have it, have it.
You see,
So I want your opinion on that.
I think the last lecture was actually an eye-opener. Now, when you have technology like this, you combine it with artificial intelligence and you make it cost effective, then a whole lot of technology comes downstream to people who can actually utilize it, because the individual faults and the individual drawbacks are partly eliminated. And I think once artificial intelligence gets rather popular and gets into it, then I think these level 1, level 2 towns will be able to do a lot of diagnostic things, which artificial intelligence would help. But Manu, please don't put me in the spot of setting up as to what level 2 towns can do. What level 2 towns are actually doing. I'm actually in a level 2 town. So what level 2 towns are doing, no corporate hospital or high-end hospital can do it, because we are available, we are affordable, and we are humble enough to be doing what does not seem to be very fascinating, very challenging, or very appreciable. But they are doing a lot of work, and I think we should be satisfied with what we are doing rather than be in competition with what we see or aspire. We should dream to be doing this, but we should become competent enough to be doing what we see in these conferences, which is excellent work indeed.
Yes. Yes, I agree. The foundation of the pyramid, the apex is anyway small, but it's the foundation which has to be strong and much more broad-based. And that is what standalone, and if you don't mind my calling that, level 2 town where not many people are together, are doing. Dr. Tyagi, innovation in conferences is always interesting. And I think we have had that once or twice in the World Congress as well as in the Asia Pacific, but this is the first time we had a separate session. Shobhana, of course, led that, of women in endoscopy, very well attended. What do you think of such innovations, and where do they get people to be interested in?
Manu, I think the whole audience would have realized that these innovative topics, they may seem unrelated to the procedures that we were seeing, but not only are they great as icebreakers, but they are a learning exercise on many issues. For example, we know that medicine is not gender neutral. We know that. After all, 46% of residents are women, 36% of faculty is women, but 21% of professors are women, 16% of deans are women, and 15% of practicing gastroenterologists are women. So you see how downhill we keep on becoming, gender biased. And this is from 2019 Lancet Gastroenterology Hepatology. This is not my data. So
And
definitely,
what about India? You
part
think
of it is part of it
India?
is part of it is India.
Okay.
Now, so Manu, we actually need to become gender neutral or gender sensitive, with which I wrote an article. It does not mean that we make the gender invisible. The needs, like Shobna said, and is very important, their needs are different. And we need to identify those different needs, and we need to incorporate that not in comparison with the male gender, but as independent evaluations of what are the needs of the female gender as doctors or as gastroenterologists. And therefore, it's important, because if we include everybody into one, then this 50% of our gender is going to become invisible. We
Okay.
want it more visible. And I think the challenges that Shobna showed or expressed, she was rather modest, are tremendous. And we must realize that and work towards it. But lectures like this, innovations like this in between the conferences, add a third dimension. And I think this conference, by adding it, was really added a third dimension into making us think about gender equality, about gender progress, and how it's important to mention all this.
Yeah.
But Manu, I have a question for you. It should not appear to this. Manu,
Okay.
we saw
Of show. Yeah.
yeah, we had, this conference was unique, and I must congratulate people that it had very high-tech, cutting-edge technology lectures. It had basic lectures, and it had innovative lectures. What would you pick out in these lectures, each of them, that would leave a lasting impression on somebody like you who sees all this and conducts them so wonderfully?
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. I would also like to congratulate the SGI team and Avinash and Manoj Sahu, who did most of the spade work in getting this entire set together. 6 rooms, international speakers, and the best of faculty. And here I'd like to again congratulate Shobna and the entire team for a wonderful session. And it's an icebreaker, keeps us really focused and not tired. During this entire conference, what we have heard today, I think we'll divide it into something which is basic, something which is run of the mill, and all of us will do it as consultants, be a standalone or if you are in a small team or a big team. And the third is the high tech. Let's start from the basic now. We had talks on pediatric lower GI, simple variceal bleed. We had talks on Fabian's talk on those points, 20 or so, which he raised for quality control. This is the basic. It is a must for everyone to be aware of these topics, how to tackle them, how to practice them, because immaterial what you are doing, even if you are at the premier institute in the country, this is a must. We had a group of talks which I called the middle zone, what we do every day. We had ERCP, the team which said Randhir, and indeterminate Samal, indeterminate strictures, benign biliary strictures. Endosono, I think, is now a part of standard. Drainage, FNA, FNB, these are all standard. NBI, probably in many places with the new scope. So these are in the middle. And I think that as we rise up, this has become a compulsory part of our training. So these two is basic, and middle, I think, is a must, compulsory for us to call ourselves as gastroenterologists. And then you had the advanced.
Manu,
Nagi, of course, spoke about it.
it really
Philip,
takes.
just now, Philip Matthews gave us a very good glimpse, artificial intelligence. And so for the newer, I think me, definitely Professor Tyagi also probably are out of this race. But I think for the younger generation, in the next 5 to 10 years, this will be a part of your daily routine. Immaterial of the cost or availability, you will get familiar with it. And many of you, I'm sure, are going to practice. So I divide this into 3 groups. And today's talk, since we are summarizing, I think included all the 3 one by one. So all in all, I think a well-organized show. What do you
Yes,
say,
and
Professor?
I entirely agree with you in this aspect. It really takes courage, and I'm using the word courage in
Yes.
after great thought. It takes courage for organizers to put in basic talks into it. And it takes even greater courage for people like Govind Makharia to talk about endoscopy in chronic diarrhea and actually tell people, and many would have learned lessons on it, that multiple biopsies give you much better results. We all know it. But to come from somebody like him, it leaves an impact. And so how to put the biopsy, how to orient it. I mean, it takes courage to be talking these basics along with lectures which are talking artificial intelligence. So really, this conference has had such a wide range of topics that everybody could have benefited from it. You could be fascinated by the last lecture, or you could have learned the fundamentals and revised everything by the lectures of, say, chronic diarrhea.
Okay. Now, Dr. Tyagi, I and you attended, Mahesh organized Asia Pacific, which was the last live workshop, probably national level society. This has been a virtual show.
Yeah.
What do you think the future? Do you think this is good enough, or do you think once COVID, either vaccination or herd immunity goes back to normal, should we go back to the old format where we all sit in an auditorium and watch? Or do you think this would do the job what we have heard today? Because this is the first national level endoscopy workshop. We have all had individual workshops. I'm talking about national. The World Congress also was live. People were there and we are transmitting. So virtual wise.
Manu, while you ask me this question, actually you are asking the whole audience this question.
Yes. I'm asking because unfortunately they cannot communicate with us.
So now why I raise this is the problem with virtual conferences is lack of communication. There are times you have been, I have been, we've all been chairpersons, we've all been moderators, and we've had to tell people to go back and not ask any more questions. Yes. Now, in virtual conferences, the interaction is almost minimalistic. And I think that is the drawback, major drawback. So what I miss in these conferences is, what happens, Manu, in a virtual conference, your day-to-day activities take priority over the conference.
Correct.
So the conference becomes subservient to your daily routine.
Well, whereas you are right. I am also guilty because I did attend OP in between the lectures.
Many of us, of the 3,000 people who registered and almost 2,000 who actually attended, I think each one of us would be guilty of it. Yeah. But while we are there in a real-time conference, while we are sitting in a hall, yes, we walk out for a cup of tea, but that's 20 minutes and we are still looking at the screen. And we still have a plan which we follow that we need to attend this. This doesn't happen. Above all, another thing that I must mention, Manu, like video conferencing, video consultations, I miss the feel.
Correct.
I miss feeling the patient. Yes. I miss shaking hands with you. I miss the audience response when I'm giving the talk. It's live, it's real time. And a pre-recorded lecture is so difficult. You're talking to a microphone versus talking to...
Yes, I agree. In fact,
to a hall of 700, 800 people.
Yeah.
So I think we will ultimately go back.
I'm happy because
it's very cost effective. It's very cost effective.
Yes, I fully agree with you. I'm not sure whether the audience, the organizers, the rest of the 3,000 people will agree, but I belong to that era like you, where the physical contact, I gave an oration in ISG, but I tell you, I've given lectures in ISG, which I enjoyed much more than the oration that I was awarded here, because this was, as I told, speaking to a screen, where there I would watch everyone in the eye as I spoke. And of course, the camaraderie and the social binding, and the get together 4 times a year, let's say, good enough. That will keep you alive.
We are most of us are cricket buffs. So
Yes.
what happens is when you share the dressing room with the greats,
Yes.
you learn something.
Correct.
So when you share a cup of coffee with the greats, you learn something.
Yes. So as well as Avinash and
I don't know whether they are
I'm
there.
sure
I
you are
think
listening. As well as you have organized this, we hope the next time you organize, we'll be
Avinash,
in
are you there?
person.
Sahu, are you still there?
They should be there, I think.
So if you are there, you could get your videos on and get yourself unmuted.
And we would like your
Who's
opinion.
listening but not in the room, sir.
Okay, anyone from the organizing committee, what were the difficulties? I want you to tell us that you had during the course of this organization, besides people giving you lectures at the last moment, which is normal.
That's
So if
par
you
for the
want an
course.
honest opinion,
Yes.
the major difficulty that we would have is the coordination.
Who's that?
Dr.
Who's that
Tyagi.
Speaking?
Sir, I'm Dr. Mamta Jain over here.
Mamta
hello,
is the
Mamta.
one who
Mamta
talked
is
to all
the
of us.
wow. When
Good.
Goenka
You are
first
the right person to comment.
Yes.
Tell me the difficulties you had in getting this show on the road.
So as Dr. Tyagi rightly mentioned, the coordination at times between the chairperson and panelist becomes a little difficult. Sticking around to time also becomes difficult, because if everything is virtual, we really have to be sticking around to time. That becomes a little tough job when the panel discussion goes overboard. And yes, the meeting to Madrid misses, but the advantage what we have is a lot of people from out of the country logging in, which is a huge number that we had.
Yeah, and Mamta, tell me very frankly, how many people stick to the time that you had? Not time means time limit for sending the recorded talks, or we are live. I and Tyagi didn't have that problem, but you would have faced that problem. 50% gave on time or lesser?
Lesser.
Lesser. So that's blood pressure for the organizers. So you go through a lot then.
So we understand the concerns.
Given a chance in ideal circumstances, would you prefer a live or a virtual similar conference?
Fortunately, this is not actually a virtual. This is a hybrid, because the kind of an
I know
attendance
it's
which is
hybrid
here,
because Nagi and all inaugurated it. I agree, but
this year
for us it's virtual.
And a lot of delegates are here attending, sir. So that again is a big.
Mamta, but isn't that double trouble?
Both.
Sir, it's my business.
Before we end, Manu, I would just want to say there was a very, in the WhatsApp group, Goenka, who's from Calcutta, wrote a cryptic note. I will talk to Mamta to get the thing done. And now I was wondering which Mamta Goenka is talking about.
Yeah. Anyone from West Bengal and
Mamta? This is Dr. Mamta Jain.
Yeah.
I know, but he just wrote Mamta.
I was following it up with him for the lecture.
I know.
Mamta, Manu, now how am
So that was, suddenly I thought you are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Matthew, I just want to know. How many people are attending live there.
I asked Mamta this question about half an hour ago.
Sir, it has been very.
Hello, it should be appreciated. That actually shows the confidence of Manoj and Avinash. And I really appreciate that. Because Manoj has called me to attend that meeting because my hospital policy does not permit me that. If I go to Orissa and come back, I have to take for 2 weeks leave, quarantine. So our hospital infection control doesn't agree to that. That's why I did not go. Otherwise, I would have gone. And
Dr. Sahu's also joined in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Manoj, tell.
Good evening, everybody.
And Mamta, you see, this was
sir,
important
good evening,
because we want. Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Manoj, tell.
Manoj, go ahead.
Manoj, please.
We got permission for 200 doctors.
Oh, that's
Sir,
good.
here we got permission from the state government for 200 doctors to join.
Okay.
And 200 doctors are joining here physically. Dr. Nageshwar Reddy came yesterday. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
200 people.
Nageshwar Reddy came yesterday. Today he left to Hyderabad because of the live session. And Dr. Sandeep Lakhia is with us here. And we have doctors from West Bengal, doctor from Northeast, doctor from Bihar, Telangana. So we have 200 doctors are present here at the physical venue. So we got permission for 200 only.
And what about the number of live active at a time? I mean, actively watching.
Active login.
Sir, they
Active.
have been varying across the thing. So at maximum that we had around is around 1900 people who were actively watching.
Good.
People were going and coming in. So that was a good number for a virtual conference. In fact, I have never seen virtual conference having 1900 simultaneous concurrent logins.
Okay.
See,
Well, I was also one of them who walked in, walked out. So I must be also in that.
Most
group.
of us will be doing that, but Mamta, it is a wonderful number. Manoj,
Yes.
it is
2000
really
is very
great.
good. I think
It's a
both
very
of you
good
should
number,
be
no?
congratulated.
Oh,
We'll
very
give
good.
them a hand at least. Virtually, we'll give them a hand.
I think it is really wonderful. The 1,900 active people attending the conference, and even doesn't happen in a real conference also. No?
Yes.
That is wonderful.
But sir, these are concurrent.
Matthew, even if you count the people having cup of tea outside, it doesn't amount to 1900.
Yeah.
That's certainly.
But I think Manu, it's really very nice of you to have changed the concept of a wrap up by talking about the core values of the conference
Wonderful.
rather than the individual lectures. So that was a wonderful idea, Manu, and
Well,
I think
it's not my idea, it's our idea.
Okay,
Our idea.
Our idea. So, that's what Matthew,
Daggy and Manu, I think this is the best way of wrapping up a conference rather than telling about the scientific data on particular thing. I think this is the best. You have touched upon everything. You have told that basic to high end and timing, many things. How many people brought in? How many talks were there? How many rooms were there? And how many centers took part in the? So this is what is required. Rather than telling that US gate coiling is good for this thing, that was a message. Nothing that everybody knows. You don't have to tell. But I think the message you told is that you have told that Govind Makaria gave a basic talk on chronic diarrhea. That is a very good message. Those people who have not listened to that talk will get an idea that this is very important. And for youngsters, it's very important. As you rightly told, having seen a new technique and new technology, people should jump into that. But no, they forget about the basic things. I'm telling you. And as Manu told, there was a question by Mohan, what is the cost and whether cost effective? When I believe, when I bought my first US electronic radial linear, people asked me, Matthew, this is not going to be cost effective. I told this is not going to be cost effective, but no, ultimately it will become cost effective because you are doing so many procedures and you want EOS. And now who asks about EOS now? Nobody tells it is costly machine. Similarly, things will change in the future. I don't know, but it will change in the future.
Half a decade from now, things will ease out for the next generation.
I am sure, you would have thought 15 or 20 years back, this is not required. EOS is not required. But now,
yes, I was also one of them who said it may not work.
Without that, you cannot work.
Sir, similarly, 6 halls were working here.
Yes, that is your credit. That is your credit.
Tremendous.
Similarly, both virtually, also physically. So we created
tremendous.
And few people who are going live from here also. Suppose speakers and chairperson who are present here, they are going live from here. And we created exactly like what we do in physical meetings. So 6 hours physically, 6 hours virtually also.
Yeah, Manoj,
I complimented you on that. You had 6 simultaneous halls running and which was very well organized.
And then, I have already told you that it really takes courage to select these topics. Such a range of topics is so important. And I think the lesson you have taught to the future conferences to come is to have these innovative, slightly out of the box topics interspersed in between the conference. That sort of gives you the third dimension, and so good that you are able to do that.
Tyagi and Manu, during the preliminary meeting, when this idea of 6 rooms and all came, we were all actually worried whether it will really work or not. But now
it's like a World Congress, Matthew. It's like a World Congress. We had 9 rooms in the World Congress.
I think DDW happening in Bhubaneswar.
Yes, and mind you, Manu is talking about World Conference, and this was just a midterm conference.
Yes, and that had we had 9 rooms only, and now we have 6 rooms here, which is wonderful, wonderful.
No, this is basically because Manoj and Avinash, they are basically very sincere guys, and they actually they message you, they talk to you.
Matthew, I still want the next one to be physically there. The next one I want to be physically there. Hopefully, nature will help us.
And Avinash and Manoj, I just want to tell one comment to you. I was trying to get into different rooms now, but in between the link actually goes off. They don't recognize that. Again, you have to log in, but they don't recognize you.
I read your WhatsApp message that you are not able to break in. I read that once you sent a message.
Many times. I don't know what's the reason. Then initially I thought, what's happening? Because I want to go into each rooms and see what is happening. But I'm not able to. Actually, I took full day leave today to attend the conference. I was trying to go in between each rooms. I did not go to the hospital. I was full time in front of the computer.
So true to your reputation, Matthew, you actually attended it rather diligently.
I think we should be closing because we are overshot by a couple of minutes.
I think we should, and we are. Thank you very much, Manu, for being such a great
wonderful
partner here. And I thought this last bit nobody listens, and it's rather an exercise in futility. But anytime you share the dais with Manu, something new will come up. We'll be more innovative. And thank you so much, everybody, for those who listened. And my wrap up of this day was great job, wonderfully done, will be remembered. Goodbye.
Tyagi and Manu, this was actually a fellowship of the conference. You people created a fellowship.
That's what we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Matthew. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.
Right.
Bye.
Some other program is there, now?
Now photography session, sir, because it was endoscopy. So Hope has captured Zoom. So that is a development of skills. So that will be by Mr. Philip Ross. There will be lecture and moderated by Dr. Arvind Dubey. So he is a senior practicing gastrosurgeon in Bangalore, sir. So he has gone to Kabini for almost 160 times. And along with him, Dr. Prashant Dian and Dr. Sadashiv Suprimat and Dr. Sanjeev Letni will be joining as a panelist. So all of them are part of Nature Karnataka AG group. So they post very innovative and very interesting photos in our group. So that's the idea behind incorporating this in our programs. So I welcome Dr. Gubi for taking this forward.
All right. Thank you, Avinash.